Hi, I'm Angie. Today I'm going to use the dough cycle in the bread maker to make donuts. So I've got 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of milk, 1/3 of a cup of water, 1 large egg, 3½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to push the flour into the corners of the pan, making a well in the center. And I've got 4 tablespoons of vegetable shortening. I'm going to put 1 square in each corner. And 2 teaspoons of fast rise yeast. Usually you use 1½ teaspoons, but for the donuts we want 2 teaspoons. And it should be fast rise. So I'm going to put this in using the dough cycle, and then we'll shape the donuts after that. Okay, so it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes and the dough is done in the bread maker. So you just want to take it out of the bread pan and just let it rest on the floured surface for 15 minutes just to relax it. Okay, once the dough has rested for 15 minutes, you want to roll it into a rectangle that's about 1/2 inch thick. A little tape measure here. That's probably a little too thin, but it will shrink back a bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Once you get it to the 1/2 inch thick, you just want to cut it out with a donut cutter. I have a smaller one and I have this large one. Just like that. So you continue and cut the whole dough. You can re-roll the scraps and let them rest for another 10 minutes and then cut the rest of it out. You just want to let the donuts rise for 30 to 45 minutes on the counter. You can just cover them with a cloth and then we'll fry them up. Okay, I re-rolled the scraps and now I'm using a much smaller donut cutter just to make some smaller ones. This one cuts a lot better, so you can see it's much smaller. So I'll have a variety, and I want to make some powdered and some cinnamon sugar donuts. Okay, so I'm going to let these sit on the counter for about 1/2 hour to rise, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now I don't like to use my deep fryer very often, but I do have it for special reasons like these donuts. I've preheated it to 375 degrees and I've got about 3 inches of vegetable oil in there. You don't want to fry too many donuts at once. I have a really small deep fryer, so I'm just going to start with one and see how that goes. So I'm starting with one of the larger donuts. So you put it in one side down and let it get brown on that side, and it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just peeking on the other side. I'm going to flip that over. You want to let them cook about 2 to 3 minutes until they're golden on both sides. When it's cooked, you can remove it from the hot oil and just put it on a cookie sheet that has some paper towel on it and let it drain on both sides. So I'll continue on with the rest of the donuts. I'll do some of the smaller ones now. I can fit more of those in there. I'll just turn these little ones over. And just remove them to the paper towel. And don't forget the donut holes. And once the donuts are drained on both sides, you can roll them in some powdered sugar or some cinnamon sugar.